Hello, Angela here, and today I want to talk about how to tell if your partner is toxic and the key indicators to watch out for. As some of us, and me in particular a few years ago, were pretty useless at looking at what these signs were. So this is what this video is going to be about. So hopefully it might help you if you are struggling at the moment to work out whether or not you're in a toxic relationship, which I know from experience can be very tough. So do you feel constantly drained in your relationship? And anxious and unappreciated as well, they can be signs. And are you actually asking yourself, like, do you have a gut feeling that maybe there could be something wrong in your relationship? And I don't just mean like you've had an argument and, you're a bit pissed off with the person, because arguments happen in relationships. What I mean is, have you got a gut feeling? I mean, this could be at the start of a relationship, and I know that every single, I sound like I've had loads, but at the time when I had bad relationships, before I'd actually done any work on myself, and I just kept attracting these types of people. But there were always the warning signs there. There's a really good book on this that I will link in the description. There's a really, really good book on how to protect yourself from these kind of situations, and how to trust, how to learn. If you've never been able to trust your instincts, or you've ignored them for so long, then they're not necessarily there either. So getting into this book, I'll put a link to this in the description. So the book is called The Gift of Fear, Survival Signals That Protect Us from Violence. And it's written by a guy called Gavin DeBecker. Just looking at the description now, because I just looked it up, it argues that every individual should learn to trust their inherent gift of their gut instinct. So if you're pretty rubbish at this, like I was, then reading this book is really good to learn how to trust your instincts again, if it's something that you're struggling with, and if this is something that you keep getting into these toxic relationships. So it's a really good book to for you to read if you want to learn about that a bit more. I listen to audiobooks because I fall asleep reading. So yeah, but it's a really, really good book. And it's also, I think, for women as well, not just about toxic relationships, but toxic situations that you might ignore. And there's a lot of things that that I learned from this book. And I think I'm very self-aware, and I'm aware of, I have situational awareness. But these are things that there were so many aha moments in this book, I can't even go into it. Anyway, let's get back to what this video is about, which is how to tell if a partner is toxic. Identifying a toxic partner, as I said, isn't always easy if you don't know how to trust your instincts. So it can involve subtle behaviours, and they can gradually, and these people are very good at this, particularly narcissists. So they can erode your self-confidence, they can isolate you, and then you start to even question yourself and think you're going mad. So, and then obviously you feel unhappy as well. So recognising these key indicators of a toxic partner is crucial to protecting your emotional and physical well-being as well, particularly if it turns the other way, which I've also been in a relationship like that as well, so I can fully understand. And this is something that's a bit more serious, but we'll get into that. So many people don't realise that the toxic behaviour can manifest in various ways. So from emotional manipulation, things like just sort of saying that I think I've mentioned this in a video before, just saying that you don't look nice in an outfit, or saying that you can't go out on a certain day, things like that. And down to outright abuse, which is obviously physical, that can escalate as well. So, it can go from a simple push and a shove, which is unacceptable, getting a lot more serious than that as well. So without addressing these issues, you may find yourself stuck in a cycle of dissatisfaction, and it impacts your mental health and your future relationships as well. So until you get to the point where, and this took me a while as well, and I wasn't always like this, because I had some really, really good relationships, but then I'd go from a really, really good relationship to a really toxic, horrific relationship. So it was always like, oh, am I the problem? Is it me? Or am I just really useless at choosing men, really? Really getting to know yourself, and whether or not and this isn't victim blaming at all, because these men can see, and I think this was at certain different times in my life where things were happening and I wasn't in a particularly good place as well. So that can also affect you. They can sniff you out. So if you're finding yourself going from a good relationship to a bad relationship, look at what's going on in your life at the time, and is there something that you maybe need to work on that's attracting these? And again, not victim blaming, but there could be certain characteristics that you're giving out that could mean that they can see you as prey, and because that's what they do. They look at women that are perhaps in going through some difficult times, and they will pick on you and they will hunt you down. Is literally what they do. So yeah, and identifying the red flags. So if you think that you're not very good at identifying red flags, and you're like, Angela, I just keep getting myself into these ridiculous relationships, then try reading that Gift of Fear, because there's so many moments in there that might help you. So identifying the red flags, looking for common signs, like consistent criticism about, like I said, like what you're wearing, where you're going, who your friends are, and controlling behaviour, lack of empathy as well, and a lot of emotional manipulation. I remember I was in a relationship with one person, and a friend that was very close to me died. Probably about a week later, I think I started crying or something like that, because a memory came up about this person, and he turned around and said, "Oh, you're still upset about that, are you?" And you're just like, okay. Like literally no empathy whatsoever. And he was a massive narcissist. So there you go. And the warning signs were there when you look back on it. Evaluate communication as well. So assess the quality of communication in your relationship. So toxic partners often use communication to belittle, control and manipulate you. So their style of communication can make you think like you're going mad when you absolutely are not. So if there is, if you've got any question over anything like that, then that could be something that you need to look at. And also how you want to be communicated to as well. Is this the way that you really, really want to be communicated to if you're not agreeing with something? So just something to think about there. So observe respect and support. A healthy relationship should be built on mutual respect and support. If your partner frequently undermines or disrespects you, another massive red flag. So assess your emotional well-being as well. So pay attention to how your partner affects your emotional health. So persistent feelings of sadness, anxiety or worthlessness are massive warning signs. So if they're not giving you, your better half, your other half should be there to make you feel better about yourself and to big you up and lift you up when you're feeling down. And to really be your support system. That should be your first port of call if you're in a relationship, is that person. And if they're not doing it for you, you want to start questioning why. So that's just another red flag. So set boundaries as well. So establish and maintain healthy boundaries. So if your partner consistently disregards your boundaries, it's a sign of a toxic relationship. So get an external perspective as well, and I've said this before. What are your friends saying about this person? So if you've got friends, and I know when I've been in bad relationships, my closest friends have been the ones who've pointed this out to me and be like, I don't really, something about him. Don't get me wrong, some of them are so bloody good at it that they can mask their behaviours in front of your friends. But your friends know you, and if there's something that they're not liking about the guy that you're with or the relationship that you're in, really take note of that. That's something I ignored on a couple of occasions, and I was wrong. So if you are rubbish at trusting your instincts, what are your friends saying about them? What are your friends saying about the relationship that you're in? So and also speaking to a therapist. If you can't get past this and you read the book and you just you're not really still not understanding the red flags, this can go back a lot further, and this can be, your parents didn't value you. This isn't everyone, right? So this is all on an individual basis, but there's so many other things that go into why you ignore these red flags. Does it feel like normal to you? Is this how your parents spoke to you when you were younger? As I've said before, does this just feel like normal life to you because it feels familiar? Or Is this unfinished business? Do you think that you can change them? That's something that, you know, and I'm not saying that, I am saying that sarcastically, but I'm not meaning it sarcastically towards you. I'm just, you know, that's the kind of way that I used to think, like, oh, he'll be fine. I'll change him. I can save him. No, you can't. You can't. These people don't want to be saved. They just want to use you, take all of your energy and leave you as a complete shell of your former self. That's what they want to do. So don't be under any illusions. If you're in that kind of a relationship and you're having your energy drained day after day, you'll be the one that ends up, oh, got my stress band here, because this is a subject that I know a lot about. So you know, getting the external perspectives, and if you are really struggling with this and you keep getting yourself into these kind of relationships, you do definitely need to go to therapy. I went to therapy and learned a hell of a lot about myself and why I was making these choices. So that is definitely something to think about, and I'm not taking this lightly at all, because they can provide a lot of clarity and support for you as well. So recognizing these signs of a toxic partner, it's absolutely essential to protect your mental and emotional health. So identifying the red flags, read that book, The Gift of Fear. Is really, really good, and I'd love to know what you think. And if you have read it and you're watching this, I think it's a book that all women should read. It's amazing. So yeah, seek external perspectives as well. What do your friends think about the person? And you can make informed decisions about your relationship there as well. So you deserve a relationship that brings you happiness and fulfillment. And if you don't, then you need to be on your own for a bit. Take the first steps towards identifying the toxic relationship in the first place. And the chances are, if you're watching this video questioning whether you're in a toxic relationship, I think you already know the answer. And again, no sarcasm, but I used to watch videos like this, and I was in a toxic relationship. You kind of answered yourself there. So, you know, you're safeguarding, and particularly if you have children, these men prey on women that have children, and try and separate you from your children as well. That's a good tactic that they use as well. So get to know yourself, so that you can then understand what these red flags are, and make sure you're safeguarding yourself. And put anything in the comments if you are in a difficult situation at the moment. Please reach out to me and let me know if I can help you, because I know that there's a lot that I went through, and I was at rock bottom, and I didn't have anybody to talk to. So I know how you're feeling, and I know exactly what you're going through, and it's starting at the bottom sometimes, and then literally building yourself back up brick by brick. So that's something, it's never the end. Even if you find yourself in a situation right now where you think that, you know, what have I got to offer, and this is how I felt. So I'm not saying that you feel like this, but I just felt like I was at rock bottom. What have I got to offer anyone? And obviously that wasn't true, but that is exactly how I felt. And I know what it's like to be at that stage. So let me know if this has helped you, or if you want any more information or any help, then please reach out to me. And thank you as ever for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.